In this episode, I'm going to run you through 5 tips that will help your buzzer fishing this season. What is up guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. If you are a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning in again. And if you are new here, my name is Rhys. I make fly fishing videos and tutorials that will help you catch more fish. So if you'd like to learn more, please press that red subscribe button and smash that bell so that you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, so buzzer fishing is an enigma, let's be honest. It can offer you some of the best fishing all year round. Spring is arguably the best time to be buzzer fishing. As summer goes on, it can get quite hard, but there's still success to be found throughout the whole year buzzer fishing if you make some minor adjustments. So let's jump straight in with 5 tips that will help you this year. Number 1, static buzzer fishing is king. There's no doubt about it. It is one of the main things that we as anglers strive to achieve as much as we can where possible. However, there are occasions when static buzzer fishing just doesn't work as well. And in that scenario, every angler will do something different. For those days where static buzzer fishing just isn't working, one of the things that I've found is applying a structured retrieve into the approach. And what I mean by that is a consistent approach when you're fishing. So for example, you'll chuck your line out, you leave a count to 20-25 seconds for everything to settle and the flies to suspend through the water column. Then if after half an hour of fishing that way I haven't had anything, what I'll then do is I'll cast it out, do the same again, but then introduce 5 figure of 8s quickly. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop, count to 20-25, and then do the same. Stop, count to 20-25, do the same. And what that does is it brings the flies up in the water column with purpose and lets them descend. And it just rinses and repeats that process throughout. And there are 2 points that always seem to get fish. Either when you first start the first figure of 8, a fish will take. And if it does take, it tends to be a fresh fish. It must be because the movement of the fly just generates that slight instinct in the fish to go, that food is getting away from me, I need to grab it quickly. And the second point of where you'll get fish is when you've done your 5 figure of 8s, as those flies are descending back down into the water column, the fish will take at some point there, and that tends to be the better older fish. So next time you're out, if static buzzer fishing isn't working for you, try and do a structured approach like that. Don't do random, just strip here or a little bit figure of 8 there. Do 5 figure of 8s, count to 25-30. 5 figure of 8s, count to 25-30, and see how it comes out for you. If you're fishing in really shallow water where you find that 25-30 is too long, then just reduce it. Number 2. Add a thin layer of mucilin to the end of your floating fly line. So if you take the last 3 foot, for example, add mucilin to that. The reason for that is so many people think that buzzer fishing is about feeling the take, feeling that fish pull away with a line. It's not that. If you watch the end of the fly line, you will be surprised how many more takes you get which you miss by not feeling them. And the purpose of putting mucilin on the end of the fly line is that if you're fishing 3 buzzers and you're fishing them straight line, eventually they're going to try and pull the floating fly line down, and it's going to take the end of the fly line under the water, which means you're going to miss the opportunity to see when the take happens with your fly line. So next time you're out, apply some mucilin to the end of the fly line, check it out, and when you're fishing, just keep staring at the end of that fly line, and you'll be surprised at just how often that when the fish takes the fly, the line just moves ever so slightly and then it's gone. But if you're watching the fly line, you can respond to that and strike and have more fish. Number 3, target bigger fish by fishing deeper. It's common knowledge now on the Midlands reservoirs that the brownies tend to sit about 5 or 10 foot deeper than the rainbows. And with that in mind, you can purposefully target those fish, whether that be on a small stillwater or on the Midlands reservoirs. The rule applies the same way. So for example, if we've got feeding rainbows that are feeding it, say, top 5 foot of water, okay, we want to target the browns that are in the 10 to 15 foot range. You can do that either by fishing heavier buzzers on the point, a longer leader if you're straight lining, or if you're fishing a bung, you fish your first buzzer from the bung at say 9 foot, second at 12 foot, third at 15 foot, as opposed to fishing 3 foot, 6 foot and 9 foot. Now there is a challenge there with a bung with that setup in the fact that there's 9 foot between your bung, which when it's at the tip of the rod, and your first fly being very far. But if you've got a net with a long handle, you should be fine. Number 4, when the going gets hard, remove all the colour. So take away the fluorescent cheeks, take away the fluorescent red butt, take away the flashy silver or flashy pearl that's on the buzzer. When the fishing gets hard and you're fishing for fish that have seen everything, the best option is to take all the colour out. So for example, a Curly's buzzer is a great example of a buzzer that will help you in that situation. When you're fishing on small still waters that have taken a hammering from everybody fishing buzzers like that, you'll be surprised how fishing something like a Curly buzzer will find you instant success. And more often than not, those older fish that have been in the lake for, a year or 6 months or whatever, they will jump readily at a Curly's buzzer over, say, a red holographic butt buzzer. And then number 5, fish as reasonably light as possible. Let me give you a perfect example of that. So I fished £7 normally for my buzzers. Recently on a small still water in the middle of summer, it just wouldn't work. Don't know why. The fish were definitely feeding on nymphs and buzzers. You could see them under the water swimming around and darting around and feeding, but I couldn't get anything on these flies, and I knew these flies worked. So change of plan, I went from 3 flies at 5 foot, 5 foot, 5 foot on £7 to 2 flies at 7 foot and 7 foot on £5 fluorocarbon, and I had 20 odd fish. Now that is a perfect example of where scaling everything down just worked. The fish would not look at that cast on £7 leader, but by extending the gap between the flies, reducing the amount of flies on the cast, and reducing the leader to what was a manageable amount, we got success. Now you've got to remember as well that certain fisheries won't allow you to fish with too light a leader, so you have to respect the fisheries rules, but where you can, scale it down as much as you can. And the decision to go from 3 flies to 2 flies was down to 2 things. With 3 flies on £5 leader, that's an extra knot that's on the leader. Because of that, there's a greater chance of a snap off for me if a fish takes it. But also, by fishing 2 flies spaced fairly well apart, it offers me the option of presenting those flies as best I can, as opposed to 3 flies condensed together, which will just spook anything that's in the vicinity. So if you would like to find more success with stillwater buzzer fishing for trout, check out this video here. And YouTube seems to think that you would like to see this video here. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like. If you haven't subscribed already, smash that subscribe button. My name is Rhys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.